New at midday, all eyes on the Collin County Courthouse. Closing arguments underway right now in the track meet stabbing trial. Thanks for joining us this midday. I'm Kara Sewell. The case against Carmelo Anthony for the death of another Frisco ISD student could be in the hands of the jury at any moment. We've got crews in the courtroom. Let's go out live now to Chris Sadeghi, who has been following this trial for us, and he is outside the courthouse right now. Chris, what are you hearing?
Well, Kara, just about 10 minutes ago, closing arguments wrapped up, but we learned about a big development before those arguments began. We learned that the jury will be able to consider manslaughter as a lesser charge to murder. Manslaughter is a reckless killing, whereas murder includes the intent. The maximum sentence for manslaughter is 20 years, whereas murder, the maximum is life. As closing arguments began, the state waived their right to open, so the defense went first. Attorney Mike Howard argued that Carmelo Anthony was invited into the tent by someone he knew and that nobody had the right to use force to eject him. He says Anthony did have a right to defend himself against someone much bigger than him. But prosecutor Bill Werski argued that Anthony showed up in a mindset that day, and that's why he had a knife. They say that self-defense is not a defense in this case because Anthony provoked Austin Metcalf into pushing him when he said, "Touch me and see what happens." That will be something the jury has to consider when they begin deliberations. I talked this morning with legal expert Keith Harris about what to expect when those deliberations begin.
I don't think that there's anything to put into what takes them so long, or if they're out 6 hours versus 2 hours or something like that. You just never can really know what's going on until you talk to them afterwards.
But one thing we do know is that the jury, if they do not have a decision by the end of the day, will be sequestered at a hotel, and they will remain in sequester until they reach a decision in this case. And once again, the closing arguments are done, so now the case in the jury's hands. Kara, back to you.
Thank you, Chris. And you can stay with us for updates on when the jury gets the case, as well as live coverage once a verdict comes in. You can also watch our after the trial coverage every night at 8 p.m. on WFAA+. A developing story we're monitoring in Duncanville. One person in critical condition right now, 3 others dead after what police say is a street racing crash. It happened just before 9 last night on West Wheatland Road. Police say 2 women died at the scene, 2 boys were taken to the hospital where 1 died. Investigators tell WFAA they were all in the car that was hit and not involved in the racing. The driver of the other car was not seriously hurt. Roads are back open after being partially closed overnight as investigators work to figure out how it happened. Let's talk about your midday commute today. We've got Eric Lopez here with us, and often we talk about construction.
And that's what we're seeing on this Tuesday, Kara. We've got a lot of road work happening across the area, so I want to get everyone up to speed before they head out, maybe run some errands, grab lunch. This is going to be one of the slower spots we're watching along Loop 12 and Singleton Boulevard. So we've got a left lane closed. A couple lanes are still open and moving, so it's not a full closure. But you know, this is kind of the time to get that done after the morning commute when typically volume is a little bit lighter. So this is what the map is looking like across North Texas. A lot of green. I want to take you over to that spot we were just looking at, just to orient you. If you're going to be traveling toward the Irving area from the Grand Prairie area, that's just going to be one spot that's going to slow you down ever so slightly just on that northbound side. Taking you over to another area that we're watching for some road work this midday, 35 East southbound and Inwood Road. It's right on the right-hand side. It does look like they're blocking off that ramp. No, they're not. There we go. Boom. Okay, ramp is still open. That is good. It looked like that a little bit earlier, so you can still exit there, which is fantastic. We're watching a third spot of road work here this hour. This is 175 westbound and 2nd Avenue. Same thing, couple lanes open, couple lanes closed if you need to travel that way. Otherwise, again, you saw the map, pretty green out here. And in Tarrant County, we're moving nicely at 35W and Rosedale Drive. Kara.
Thank you, Erica. So a funeral and mass is underway right now for the victims of a deadly apartment explosion in Dallas's Oak Cliff neighborhood. Maricel Perez and her son, Eric Jr., died in the blast in late May. Her 9-year-old daughter survived and is now with family. The Perez family says burying their loved ones is the first step toward healing. Filing a lawsuit is the next one. Dallas activist Sylvia Collins also died in the explosion. Her daughter is suing Atmos and Barba Drilling. A separate lawsuit was also launched on behalf of another survivor. New images this midday of the Dallas Stars' potential new arena in Plano. The Collin County City just gave the green light for the development. Our Tiffany Liu has the details on those plans.
You may have to start picturing some more victory green here because the Plano City Council, they're taking steps towards bringing the Dallas Stars here to the city of Plano. Last night, the City Council approved 4 measures to move this project forward, and now we're getting a first look at the vision that could replace the Willow Bend Mall. These new renderings show an arena complex with a price tag of about $3 billion, $1 billion for the arena itself, and another $2 billion in surrounding development. Some key things to note about this meeting. Plano City Council approved a tax reinvestment zone, which would bring about $700 million in future tax revenue generated here inside the district. They also agreed to provide $15 million to demolish the existing mall. Not everyone is sold on this idea, though. Some residents raising concerns about traffic, safety, and whether the project is worth the incentives.
Sports teams constantly move. When I lived in Phoenix, I used to watch the Arizona Coyotes, who are now in Utah. We now have the Vegas Raiders. The Rams have moved constantly. Now the Bears are leaving Chicago. I have concerns in the future we'll have a dead stadium.
I've been talking with the Stars for almost a year and a half, and I think we've developed a rapport of trust, and I think the Stars need to come to a place like Plano.
And the city says there will be 2 public open houses where residents can come and give their feedback to both developers and city leaders. They will be held here at the shops at Willow Bend. In Plano, I'm Tiffany Liu.
It is not just the Stars leaving the American Airlines Center in downtown Dallas. The Mavs are also planning their move to take over more than 100 acres at the site of the old Valley View Mall by the time their lease expires in 2031. Right now, downtown Dallas is at a turning point, and some city council members are hoping to keep some status quo. 3 of them have filed a lawsuit to try to stop a meeting tomorrow on the redevelopment of City Hall, and a hearing is set for this afternoon. Council members Adam Bazaldua, Paula Blackman, and Kara Mendelson filed the emergency petition accusing the city of trying to ram through a decision on short notice. In a statement, Bazaldua said City Hall is an irreplaceable landmark and a decision on its future needs more transparency and public input. We reached out to the city, which says it will not comment on pending litigation. New at midday, the U.S. military confirms 2 pilots were rescued after their Apache helicopter went down near the Strait of Hormuz. President Trump says the pilots are fine. Olivia Rubin has details on that rescue.
Today, new questions after a U.S. Army Apache helicopter went down near the Strait of Hormuz. 2 pilots aboard that chopper, the U.S. says, were rescued by the Navy's first ever drone task force, an unmanned vehicle picking them up and bringing them back to land. According to a U.S. official, the drone had a speedboat-like design. U.S. CENTCOM saying the helicopter was patrolling regional waters. It's not clear exactly why it went down.
So we're going to have to see whether it was a mechanical situation, whether there's a malfunction that set it into the ocean, or whether it was hostile fire. We just don't know yet.
President Trump saying the pilots are doing okay.
The pilots are fine, yeah.
And
nobody injured.
Hours before, U.S. forces firing on an oil tanker said to be attempting to cross the naval blockade. Here you can see smoke pouring from the ship, and here a helicopter hovers above, lifting sailors to safety. And with the war now passing 100 days, President Trump still has no deal with Iran, but insisting one could come any day.
We should be able to do it in 1 hour, if you want to know the truth.
What's the biggest sticking point right
I don't think there are any sticking points.
Back and forth strikes between Israel and Iran this weekend, putting negotiations on shaky ground. The fighting has paused for now, but both sides warning they are ready to resume if provoked. Iran's top negotiator saying they will, quote, fight at our own time and negotiate at our own time. And the price of oil falling amid President Trump's optimism, down to under $90 a barrel and about $4.12 for a gallon of gas, according to Gas Buddy. Olivia Rubin, ABC News, New York.